made another pot of coffee. I'm pretty excited about that because I haven't had that much of it yet.
All right, I'm going to go off on how disappointed I am in local government today. That's going to be a thing. Are we live?
Yeah.
We're live.
Yeah, we are. We are currently live.
That is the thing that's pulled up and start sharing it out and saying good morning.
And we can vamp and say hi and
to our friends,
other things. So if you're
people that follow us because they hate us, there may be a few of those. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, yeah. Did I tell you we actually had like a really negative comment on YouTube the other day, and it was directed at me because apparently I'm very stupid. And
that's because you're an awful person.
I genuinely thanked the guy because chances are it was a guy because guys are just shitty on the internet. I don't know if you noticed this, but that's a real thing that exists. There's a there's a difference.
It's not just on the internet.
Well, okay, fair enough. And again, it's not exclusive.
But I gotta know. Close. I didn't. What was the comment?
Just that I'm stupid. You're so stupid. Like Corey's very stupid. Well, that's the thing. I was like, it wasn't okay. It wasn't like the best possible dig on the internet. I'll concede that. But I did go in and say, hey, listen, like I'm under the impression that unless you get, shit talking comments on YouTube, you haven't arrived yet. So thank you. Right. Like I have suddenly arrived and you're the one who did it. So dude, thanks, man. You fucking little shit turd. Anyway, I didn't add that last part because I'm fucking enlightened. I don't know if you're that.
Passive aggressive, maybe. Okay, so I'm sharing this back to Solo Live and a couple other places while we vamp. And we called this Orange Monday Part Deux.
Yep, that's what we call that.
UX, right? Yeah,
I think so. I hope so. Otherwise, I was snippy and spelling it wrong. Which
country that has two national languages?
That's true.
I know that. Did you have to take French?
I took French only until grade 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sunshine Coast, where I lived, had a French immersion school where kids could go and that's all they spoke all day, just to get them in the habit of. BC is not very Franco-centric, so I discovered an interesting thing when I lived there that a lot of the Anglo Canadians resent the shit out of French Canadians, and I didn't understand why. It's because during World War II they didn't necessarily have to serve. Like, all the English boys went off to war, and many of the French ones did not. Once France was out of the war, French Canadians didn't go.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't understand the resentment between English Canadians and French Canadians until more than one person told me that story.
Well, there's special high muckety muck transfer payments to Quebec.
Yeah.
That's, I think, more than anything. Like, not only is that happening, but they threaten and like hold elections on whether or not they should secede all the time.
Right.
To the point where the rest of the Canada is like, we're just go. Just like
you're costing us money every year.
Right. Like Montreal's not that cool. I mean, it's pretty cool, but it's not, I'm not going to beg you to stay.
Okay, so I'm looking at a post from you on Facebook that says at least 1 million people lost their jobs in the hospitality business yesterday, #UBI. And someone I don't know answers, what? I don't understand. What? How is somebody not paying attention to this? Like I'm channeling my inner Seven Bates right now.
Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, restaurants are getting closed everywhere, right? And not everywhere, but in a lot of places, I should say. And so, those people they don't get any help at all. And this is what is basically being ignored now, right? Like they're just unemployed. You have to, not get any tips and not get any money for checks watch 6 weeks to 6 months.
Right.
So like, it's, and again, like for all that Joe Blackburn guy, who I love dearly, but kind of like a dumb little brother, was like, hey, if you're going to politicize this, just unfriend me now because it's not the administration's fault. I'm like, hey, you should probably delete me like 2 weeks ago because like it's their fault. Any other president in U.S. history, right? Like Bush would have been probably 5 or 6 or 7 days late. That's in January, right? Trump was lying about it fucking yesterday, right? And every day since. at different varying levels of bullshit. I think calling that out is not politicizing it. Calling out the fact that we need UBI right now is not political opportunism. It's showing that the system is broken very obviously, and this was always how to fix it and how you should do it instantaneously right now. Right. Talking about Medicare for all, and you can't just go in and pass it, but they could, they are going to do very similar emergency actions that are a lot like Medicare for all, because you fucking have to, right? Because if you don't, like, we literally are all in this together. If you don't do that, so people are afraid to go to the hospital, more people are going to die. Like, that would be a trackable number that's real.
Right.
The really fucked up thing is all of these things existed in a slow churning thing before this.
Right. This is gasoline on a fire.
That's exactly it. It's enough so that now it's going to affect you, and a lot more people are going to pay attention. So it's like the whole gun thing, right? Like after a massacre, you can't talk about gun laws after a massacre. Don't politicize fuck yourself.
Right.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
how do you not politicize something that requires a political solution?
Right.
Like the privilege of, I don't talk about politics. Well, good for you, buddy. I'm glad your rights aren't being curtailed. I'm glad you aren't being beaten to death in the street because people won't acknowledge your existence. Your boss is interested in politics. Your landlord's interested in politics. You should be too. So there's that. Okay, I want to go to comments from Nick. Morning, Warren. Nice to see you. Moxie's mom, I believe that's our friend Jackie, right? I think that's Jackie Glinky here locally. Morning, Heather. What is Orange Monday? Go look at the stock ticker. Black Monday was the reference I made. We decided Orange Monday was more appropriate.
Yeah. So when the stock market took its initial, sort of panic crash. Was it a week ago or 6 months ago? I don't remember.
It's a week ago.
Maybe. Was it only a week? It really was only a week.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
good.
fine. Everything's fine.
Good, man.
So, people called it Black Monday. That's like a reference to the Depression and to, 2008 and that kind of thing. But then some very, very clever people decided to call it Orange Monday because that is really, really appropriate. And this is Orange Monday part 2. For people that don't know, the feds yesterday, and I found out this morning, Greg, that this was actually done globally. And so there were actually some smart people at the wheel with this. I still think what they're doing is the wrong thing for humans, but it might be okay. It might sort of blunt the curve for companies. I still think that they're thinking that this is just going to get better, and it's going to get a lot worse. So anyway, they lowered interest rates to 0, which means that big banks can borrow more money to put into the market. That's sort
of you or I.
No, it's irrelevant to us, and to the vast majority of actual humans.
Right.
And
so
not entirely.
This won't trickle down.
It will not. The people that are the most excited about this, like if you had a hedge fund and you were the short position, right?
Yeah.
And you want this market to go down because it already didn't match fundamentals. It was already in a bubble, and now it's actually going to be negatively impacted anyway. So instead of going down to 16,000, where I think it would have been headed anyway, it's probably going to go down to like 8. You're salivating because what it means when the interest rates go down is that banks can borrow more money to try and buy stuff up, which means that your short positions will be liquid. It means that because you basically, if nobody was going to buy your short position, right, it would be unsellable. You would just be stuck with it. It wouldn't mean anything, right? So you have to be able to close systems. That's when they talk about liquidity, that's what they mean, right? Like there has to be enough buyers and sellers on both sides of the thing. Right. And what they're doing with quantitative easing is literally buying fucking stocks. The government is buying stocks just to provide liquidity.
That seems like a bad idea.
I mean, if you are in a deep hole and there is zero confidence in the system, like in 2007, 2008,
right?
I think it made the difference then to turn the market.
But you could see the bottom then, right?
They were at the bottom then,
right?
Or pretty close to it, right? And so they did one, then they did a couple more, but it was like the banking thing and the housing thing was all kind of getting figured out, but that was like an isolated market event, right? There's none of that here. It's the whole market is going to be completely and totally disturbed by this.
Well, concurrent with that announcement yesterday, Ohio, Illinois, California, a number of states completely shut down all food and beverage other than takeout and delivery.
Yep.
Fort Lauderdale and Miami closed their beaches during spring break. So like doing that in a moment when there was still more bad news coming out, my dad would call that shoveling shit against the tide, is to use his colorful colloquialisms. Like, I mean, clearly the market wasn't impressed. So what's the good news, Corey?
There is good news.
Yes.
I saw some shit on Twitter today that actually was like, that's good. So in Italy, they are running out of ventilators quickly. And they're actually running out of sockets to attach hoses to the wall to provide oxygen to people.
Right. The connectors between the ventilator and the internal oxygen system in the hospital.
Right. So for the ventilators, they're actually jury rigging ventilators out of hose parts and one part that they couldn't sort of jury rig. So they're 3D printing it, which I thought was like, fucking look at you, weirdos. That's some nerd level shit. And they're also 3D printing that socket now. So like ready-made, instantaneous, we need a physical thing. We don't have the physical thing, manufacturing on the spot, or the parts they can't jury rig from other things.
Yeah.
It's something we would have never seen before this. So that's fun. Cause I think that has a long tail, like that kind of institutional learning.
Innovative local thinking,
right? Like we'll probably mandate it, right? Like who's gonna be the person that in an emergency runs this stuff, because it's clearly what people are having to do, and it could probably be like 100x as far as capacity is concerned,
right?
Because that's again like the biggest worry is that the number of hospital beds that we're going to need is not anywhere close to what we have, right? And ventilators are sort of tied in with that number. So that's good news. There's people that are really thinking about that. The fact that so many things have closed and so many local and state governments are mandating these things is a great step. I'm sort of in the boat where I've been way too deep into the numbers on this. So my take is that if you're not literally quarantining everything in the country right now for 2 weeks, you're basically just you're slowing things down, which is good, right? Because again, like if you get in a hospital and get a ventilator, your survivability rate goes way, way up, right? It's when people don't have that things get really, really tough, and you have doctors having to make triage decisions about who lives and who dies, which is just, I can't even fucking imagine.
Which, by the way, it should be noted that hospital staffs do that every day, and we should give them a hug when we see them, because not right now, but this is an exacerbation of something that doctors and medical staffs have to decide every day. They literally have to decide who gets treatment and who doesn't when they don't have enough resources.
You know what usually decides that?
Yeah, survivability. Patients.
Who's got insurance?
Who's got insurance? Yeah. Okay, so that's the good news.
Yeah, that's the good news.
I was looking for like economic good news.
No,
not today,
no, dude. No,
I'm sorry. The good news, economic good news store is closed today.
Oh,
after the quarantine ends.
No,
oh my gosh.
Mean. I think they might.
Judy. Hi, Judy. I'm sorry. I had the wrong person. The username sometimes confused me on.
They might get limited out on the 13%. Oh, it's actually down to 10. It was at 11% down. It's only
down 10%.
Wow.
This reminds me, like you're not a sports ball guy, but the Buccaneers' first head coach when they were a new franchise and they lost everything forever. They were the worst team in sports franchise history, not just football history, right? And their first coach, John McKay, was a really, really amazing guy and funny. And he was asked, they lost 45-3 to, I think, the Green Bay Packers one day. And he said, well, we didn't complete any passes in the first half, but we made up for it in the second half by not tackling anyone. Another day somebody asked him, how do you feel about your team's execution today? And he said, I'm in favor of it. Which is
so yeah, I wanted to get some
Corey doesn't laugh. It's because something is
no. So this is literally the first comment that I read. I was just scrolling up. I was like, did Corey shave? Do you have a mustache? I'm reading in the disdain because that's appropriate, I think. So I don't mean to have a mustache. I just sort of like shaved it all off. What I have is like a little mutton chop action, but yeah, no, it's not really a mustache. It's just like what my face looks like. It really does.
Her husband works at Starbucks.
Get that more.
Says Starbucks is removing all tables and chairs from inside and patio. Orders will be to go
like
and mobile.
Order and GTFO.
Yep,
that's good.
I think
they're actually making that. That's mandated now in New York. They try to do it with Vegas. Sheldon Adelson is keeping all of his casinos open
because, of course, he is.
Yeah.
However, Wynn closed. Wynn closed 2 casinos and all of the associated nightclubs, day clubs, pools, resorts, everything. So you can still go lose your money at slot machines, but you can't hang out there and eat and drink.
Yeah.
Like I expect that today, like, you know, we had the Cascade thing happen on what Thursday, Friday, when every large event that we could think of got canceled in a hurry. I actually think today is the day we start seeing cities and states do what Ohio and Illinois did yesterday. I think that more states are going to have to make that call. I'm amazed that we haven't had it already here in Florida. We are the third most populous state, and it would seem like we should be thinking about that. Comments. Maria Richards, nobody needs government until everyone needs government. It was a great idea to defund the government and starve agencies that keep us safe. Yep, we drowned it in the bathtub. Thank you for that. Government is never the solution. Yeah, until it is. Until it is. Like, okay, and like I should have made a list today because I have some things I want to talk about, and one of them is stop with the whole. It's a bioengineered bug designed to control our minds and put us all in quarantine. Stop it. Stop the fuck. Stop. And let me tell you why it's important that you stop. This is the opposite of what Ash says we should be doing, but this is it. We're going to have to trust the CDC and our federal government medical systems to develop, test, and implement a vaccine and a set of protocols that are going to save literally millions of lives over the next 12 months. And if you are undermining whatever trust people had in that system, they're going to refuse to get vaccinated and millions are going to die. You're actually increasing the chances that this turns into a thing that kills millions of people instead of just hundreds of thousands of people. When you do that shit, listen to me carefully. You can go to the CDC website right now. You can go to the World Health Organization website right now. You can go to the UN website right now, and you can find the specific knowledge we have about the COVID-19, the coronavirus, novel coronavirus itself. We know that coronaviruses are common, that we've identified them for decades now. We know that SARS was a coronavirus. We know that there was, I can't remember the name, MERS was the other one. These are coronaviruses. We've known about these viruses for decades, and we know how to combat them when we identify a new one. It just takes some time. We know specifically where this virus entered the human system. We know that the wet markets in China, whether we like this idea or not, wet markets often have live animals that are butchered on site. If you've ever watched Anthony Bourdain travel shows, you've probably seen wet markets in action. And we know that bats were particularly that bats were the vector for COVID-19 into the human, into human contact. So we know where this virus came from. It was a wet market in China. And this is not a racist statement. This is a point of origin statement. It could have been a wet virus in the Middle East because they have them there. It could have been a wet market. I'm sorry, did I say wet virus? It could have been a wet market in Asia. It could have been a wet market in the Middle East. Could have been a wet market in Africa. It could have been a wet market in South America. All of those places have those. Guess why? Poverty. Wet markets exist because poverty. Not everybody has the sanitary conditions to take care of things, and those are points of entry into human systems where we see these viruses come from. That's why the last president opened 47 international offices to help us track pandemics over there before they get over here.
All the experts said this was coming.
Closing down 37 of those 47 was a bad idea. That's why firing your entire pandemic response team was a bad idea. That's why destaffing the CDC was a bad idea. But no, let's not politicize this. Let's not do that. No. So please stop with the fucking conspiracy theory bullshit. Unless you have proof of it, unless you have a New York Times reporter or smoking gun story that says it, stop. You're not helping.
Here's the shorter version, and this is actually useful for any situation ever. Unless you have evidence, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like that's forever about everything.
Yeah. Here's a conversation we're gonna have to have. There was a moment early in the outbreak in Washington State, which is sort of the ground zero in the United States of where the spread and fatality started to get bad, where local testing labs were told by the CDC to stop testing, and they were not approved to test any further. We're going to have a conversation about why that happened. And fortunately for everybody concerned, the University of Washington scientists that were doing the testing, they actually fibbed when they were reporting symptoms upstream. They were reporting symptoms that were within the parameters for federal testing that didn't yet exist. And thank God they did, because they kept testing and they knew there was community spread going on. If they had stopped testing as ordered, it would have been far worse. It would have been weeks before Washington saw a blossom of cases that indicated community spread. So we're going to have that conversation. But when we shouldn't have that conversation is now. Right now, what we need to focus on is creating confidence in the systems that are going to at least work to keep us safe, despite being hammered on from above by the president and his shithead companions. So please stop with the conspiracy theory bullshit. It's not a conspiracy. It's a fucking virus. It's a well-known virus that's existed for decades.
And people said we should expect it. Okay, I do have to change the subject a little bit because I'm noticing that not only do I have a mustache, but I also kind of have like a weird Hitler thing going on. And I would like to apologize for that. It's like a baby Hitler thing. It's not like the full, like, really obvious thing.
I hate to tell you, it looked on camera, it looks more like a cold sore. So I'm just...
It's not. It's just, it's just hair.
Okay, Corey. Okay, Corey.
It is. It's just because I was shaving over that divot and I was going fast. I didn't really try and do it. Anyway, There you go. That's what you guys get this morning. I would look way weirder than normal. Anyway. So yeah. I would love for any of you to give me some good news because, I was having a dearth of it as well.
Casey Murray is all over it. The sun came up this morning. And it is almost guaranteed to come up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's true.
So there you go.
Beaches are closed. That makes sunrise a little less fun.
Yeah, I thought about that. Miami Beach, all the beaches down there, from Miami to Fort Lauderdale, that's about a 20-mile stretch of beaches going to be closing. I think that's about spring break more than anything else. You got a bunch of college kids.
They really well, and the restaurants are open still, but all the bars close at 10. So It really is like hey, if you're down here for spring break, it's time to GTFO.
You know what's funny? Like I saw somebody saying that doesn't make any sense. Why not just close them outright? Well, you're reducing the speed of spread. Right now, we're not going to stop it from spreading. We're not going to stop people from getting sick. But if we can slow down the contagious nature, then we maybe get a window where we don't overstress the hospitals. So
is that happening for everyone?
What's that?
Oh wow, your audio just went like super digital, like Tron in a blender.
Wow, no, it's
better now. It's fine now.
Yours does that to me once in a while. Like when your internet speed chokes out, you get a little drags your voice down low and weird.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
We just ignore it.
Like, yeah, well, that's I mean,
Corey is glitching again.
That's how I think.
He's glitching the matrix. Okay, so we want to talk. Well, let's see. Let me go to comments here. Cops came into the French Quarter last night and kicked everyone out. You are endangering public safety. Please go home. That never happens in New Orleans. That's a rare thing. Let's see. I'm a Starbucks guy because I like decent coffee. Oh, there's a Starbucks versus Dunkin' argument going on. Saskatchewan is up to 6 cases.
I'm glad we finally got down to the really important shit.
Right. Silvestri says less than 45,000 beds in ICU. Italy said anyone over 80 years old will be left to die. That is true. Anyone know why it takes 3 days for test results in Pasco, but 45s came back in 12 hours? Yes, because he fucking lies.
Well, it's capacity, right? I mean, that what we know now is that if you're rich, you can get a test. Like that entire basketball team got a test. Like
I would not be at all surprised to learn that the White House has its own testing lab for a great many things right on the premises or in the old executive office.
They have the entire Pentagon. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
So mom said Gail had no problems at the airport this morning. She'll be in Canada by noon. That is fantastic. Yep. I'm not worried about you getting home on Saturday. Are they going to
make her self-quarantine when she gets there?
I doubt it.
Did you see the announcement from the Norwegian government yesterday? They want all students to return home, especially from countries that have a bad history of treating infectious disease like the United States of America. They used us as a negative example to tell their college students to get on home.
I mean, they're right. So I guess we probably talk about the debate because like that was something that was really striking to me last night is that Bernie was making his usual moral arguments and he's like largely right about them. But I found myself just not caring. Like you're not creating any coalition that's going to pass this right now. You're just saying words. That's the impression I got. And then Biden came in and honestly, and again, I'm explicitly for single payer. So it's the guy who backs his policy proposal. I was like, what are you going to do? You can't put 3 Democrats in a room and get them to agree with anything. You're just yelling at everyone. Right. And if you're doing that, it's not going to work. And Biden's over here saying like, hey, like whatever we were going to do about that, we need to deal with this, right? And we need to do the emergency things and yada, yada, yada. Every one of the things that he said, he knows the Beto is going to help him with, and Amy Klobuchar is going to help him with, and freaking, everybody else is going to help him. So that it. And it's funny, like Michelle said this to me the other day, and it keeps kind of coming back. It's like, I was saying something to the effect that I want a president that can actually, get stuff done. It's like, you don't really want that. I'm like, what do you mean? You want a president that can tell other people to do it, right? Well, the president is not a micromanaging position; it's a leadership position.
Right. I think that's what you meant, though.
Right. That's it. Well, yeah. But it clarified it for me, because that's suddenly why the. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway. I mean, Bernie's going to get murdered on Tuesday. So, in all likelihood, unless people stay home, which is going to be,
Brianna Unger took a break from social media, but had to pop in and get my COVID economy update. Sorry, there's not good news.
It's fine. No, everything's fine. It's great. It's
Marion,
good.
The good news is Joe Biden showed up last night. You know what?
He did.
I thought. Look. I know you had problems with the feisty nature of the conversation, the back and forth, insult trading. I get that. I agree with that. However, Bernie had to speak to his followers and throw them some red meat last night. And today, or tomorrow, he will likely endorse Joe Biden and start working to get Joe Biden elected.
That's not how you do it.
But it's happening months and months sooner than it did in the 16 cycle.
Well, that's important. And assuming you're right, then that'll be great. I didn't get the impression like that presser that Bernie did last week or like 5 days ago, whatever it was. Time's compressed and weird now.
Yeah.
I totally felt like, okay, he's opening the door. He's gonna, actually try and sort of do the best for his followers and use whatever leverage he has for policy. He didn't do that. He just yelled. Right? There was none of that. And like he wasn't cutting for points. He was cutting for blood. To the point where, like, I'm wondering if he thinks the young people all go out in greater numbers because young people don't give a shit about a virus that isn't going to kill them. And I again, fucking really want to be wrong about that.
Yeah.
But like that wasn't a halfway out the door, let's start unifying thing, and it proved it.
So I think that'll happen today and tomorrow.
Maybe, but why do that then? Right? Like throwing red meat to your base. I'm watching his base on Twitter. They're all going to say they're voting for Jill Steiner staying home. Throwing that kind of red meat at them is fucking us in the election.
Man,
and Bernie has to know that. No, I'm watching it. I'm watching it happen in real time.
I don't think that will be the ultimate outcome here.
All right. Well, thank you for talking me off that ledge.
I think that we're going to win this election walking away, but only if we're out working hard for it. Yeah. And not all of us are going to. That's clear to me now. Not all people are going to unify behind the eventual nominee.
Yeah. And that was always going to be the case anyway.
So let's say all independents stay home and it's only Republicans and Democrats. We still win. Bottom line, we still win. So there's more of us than there are of them. And if we're as highly motivated as I think we are, and we are, then, the 2018 election was a trend point, and I think that trend continues. I don't see none of my Democratic Party registered friends are willing to sit this one out. Even the ones I know who are vehemently anti-Biden understand that, they have work to do. The real enemy, and Bernie said this right up top, and he was absolutely right. The real enemy here, the most important thing, is getting that asshole out of the office of the presidency. And
so when Biden said, hey, listen, I've said this from the beginning. If Bernie Sanders wins, I'm going to campaign for him like crazy, and all my supporters are going to vote for you. Bernie Sanders, are you willing to say the same thing? Yeah. Sniffle, pass.
Yeah, I agree. I think the moment when Joe Biden sealed up the nomination is when he said, I will select a woman as my vice president. That was it. I immediately saw that reposted all over Facebook during the debate.
I heard two people float Stacey Abrams independently on MSNBC this morning, and I'm like, I'm going to get my pick.
Man, I would be so excited. I'm more excited about that than any other pick he could possibly make. Kamala Harris is a sitting senator,
and again, like that's a huge loss if we lose.
Sitting senator, we can't.
That's
right. I don't want to risk those seats. But also, Stacey Abrams, is a far more progressive potential president than Joe Biden, and if she's the vice president, even if he serves 2 terms, we're looking at a presumptive nominee 4 years out, 8 years out, that is far more progressive than Joe Biden. And I think what's happening right now,
so capable too, because again, like a woman and a black woman, they have to be better, right? Obama had to be better. He couldn't be just a little bit better than Romney. He had to be 3 times better than Romney, and he was. Stacey Abrams has that juice, in my opinion.
Yes, and I think I understand why she didn't run in this cycle, because she's doing really, really critically important voter turnout work and anti-suppression work, and that makes her an even better look for 2024, 2028. So I think Stacey Abrams is the running away most positive pick he could make, and I think that will invigorate some young voters in a way that the Bernie kids aren't showing up at the polls in the numbers that needed.
They're not even showing up for Bernie. I mean, they're not going to show up for us.
So I've kind of become sort of like that. Well, they're going to stay home anyway. It wouldn't matter.
I think
unless
you're right
it was an
about
Obama level motivator.
Yeah, I
don't think that they're coming. And so we have to start thinking about how we win without them. If 10 people volunteer to come out and canvass for you and only 2 show up, you got to figure out how to do with those 2 people. And you get the work done anyway. You just have to work harder, and you exhaust yourself, and you roll that ball up the hill. That's what you do. And our local friends who have run all know that lesson. Our local friends that are running all know that lesson. Dan Antonino, Brandy Goyette, and the others we know who are running for local office or state office, they absolutely need our support and our help. So that's it. Comments. I'm going to kind of try and Jareen, I totally spaced on the debate. Going to have to catch up and replay. You're fired.
Honestly,
Michael Silvestri, is this Corey's baby brother? No, actually, I know Corey's baby brother, and he's a lot more Canadian than Corey. You would know by his accent alone that he's a little more Canadian.
I think it's ebbing a little bit, even after just being down here for a year. But
but it's still pretty noticeable. Like, because I just saw him here recently. Talked to him at Bourbon on Main that night. Sherry B, I think once the Senate passes the bill, then all states will start to close like Ohio. I think that's probably correct. They're probably waiting to see what happens with funding for some of the things that we're going to have to shut down. That's interesting. Some casinos have every other slot machine disabled to get people apart. God, antisocial distancing.
It's all it's funny. It's all recirculated air, though. I mean, that's not
right.
It's not going to be enough.
Let's see.
Silvestri said right at the bottom there's a vast difference between Bernie or bust and never Hillary from 2016. I do agree with that. I think that might be a thing. And I have to tell Rio this all the time. Like, I'm on Twitter. The craziest Bernie bros will find you and start shitting on your posts, right? And that's a self-selected group of people that want to be very loud and very annoyed, right? I like it doesn't like Bernie's got 40% of the Democratic primary vote right now, or 30 or whatever the fuck it is, a huge millions of numbers of people, right? And I still believe that the vast majority of them are fucking fantastic. So that's just how I want to roll with that.
Yeah, Susie, he did say it later in the debate that he'd support Biden. Yeah, you know what? He was second to a lot of things last night. He was second to the woman for vice thing. He was second to the I'll support my opponent.
Soft.
Yeah,
that got me too.
We needed to hear him be, definite.
Yeah. He honestly, I feel like the thing is, Bernie Sanders throwing red meat to his supporters is stupid at this point. Because guess what? He's not going to get if he does that. Any other Democrats to vote for him, right? So it's just like, I've lost, so I'm going to go out swimming. Okay, but like you could have, if Yang had been, because this is the thing that I do all the time now, right? Like I compare everybody to Yang. Yang would have been in there pushing for his thing and actively engaging the entire party and all of America at the same time. And still, through analysis and data, talk about why his idea is better. And I feel like Bernie Sanders used to do that, right? There's a reason why Medicare for All got pushed into the Overton window, and it's not because he wasn't explaining it over and over and over again. He doesn't explain it anymore. He just screams about why it's needed. And again, as a moral argument, I totally get that. But as an electoral argument, it clearly isn't working.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Bernie is running as a Dem against Dems, and that is a problematic position. And I know lots of folks don't understand why Democrats aren't as excited about Bernie Sanders, because he's been outside the tent pitching rocks at people we know are doing good work for a while now. And I love his ideas, and I love his fire, and I love the fact that I know that the things he talks about are things we have to do.
Yep.
We have to do those things. But, he's
not going to get it done.
Moses led the children of Israel to the promised land and didn't get to go. So, I think he's inspiring a whole bunch of young, fiery leftists to run and successfully so. And I think that'll continues after Bernie is no longer part of the conversation.
It kind of got me too, because AOC's talking about UBI now. Not that that's really cool, and I'm going to keep repeating it over and over again.
Dude, financial market talking heads on MSNBC are talking about UBI.
So fucked up.
Fucking crazy.
I heard 3 traders like, "Hey, we're going to have to do a UBI." I'm like, "What fucking country is this? Where are we right now?" Andrew Yang and Scott Santance are gold. The reason why I add Scott Santance is because he got it from like 0 to 0.5%. Or maybe 1%, and Yang got it from 1% to like 70% of people in America know what UBI is now, which is why it's an idea that's available for people to understand. So it's a huge thing. But that's the thing, like, so, and this is another comparison. So Bernie keeps talking about, like, I've been talking about the same ideas for 40 years, and that I used to be really excited about that, because that shows consistency or whatever. It shows 2 things.
Elizabeth Wood.
Oh no,
the Dems are his booty call, but he won't date us.
Nailed it. So yeah, 40 years he's
4 a.m. calls from Bernie Sanders when he sees us online.
Jesus, that's fucking funny. 40 years he's been back in these ideas. How many of those ideas has he gotten into place in 40 years? 0. Not one. Right? He got one thing into the Overton window, which is fantastic. And
you're right, Ginny. We need a song about shifting the Overton window, like the Large Hadron Collider rap. We need like the what? Overton window, the Large Hadron Collider rap. Are you not familiar with this?
I don't. Nope.
Oh my God! One of the
it feels like something I should know.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. I can't. I would play it right now if I wasn't afraid of us
getting turfed.
Kicked off YouTube for it, because it is a YouTube video. One of the scientists from LHC made a rap video with a bunch of other scientists. They're all riding around in carts at the LHC, throwing gang signs, and it explains what it does. It explains what the LHC does. It's fucking awesome. I played it for Kira last night. She'd never heard it either. So I'll have to
That's awesome
when we're done here.
All right.
But we need an Overton window song.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like
so, and this is the difference between AOC and Bernie Sanders is Bernie Sanders clearly cannot onboard new ideas. Right. UBI is better. It's better. And it took AOC pulling the party line for a while and really shitting the bed with that, UBI is a Trojan horse for capitalism nonsense it was a bandwagon that she jumped on, and it was in air, which, if I check my notes, is like the only thing she's ever done wrong that I know of. So points. But she came around, right? She's got the capacity to onboard new data and come up with or understand better ideas. And
man. Sherry Burney, Ted Cruz is praising AOC for giving good advice in regard to coronavirus. What planet am I on?
Huh?
I have to see that. You have to link us to that tweet, kiddo. I want to frame that and put it on my wall.
Seriously, where are we?
Once in a while, Ted Cruz makes sense, and it's disturbing.
I think he's
no Louis Gohmert, that's for sure. Yeah, Louis Gohmert is consistently an idiot.
Yeah, he's not
Ted Cruz, he's unpredictable. I want big shout out to Devin Nunes encouraging everybody on Fox News yesterday to go out to their local pubs and restaurants.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I'm absolutely serious. This is a great time to support your local businesses. Go out to eat. Don't be afraid. Oh. And I wanted to say this about that. That's fighting the last war. Like there's a military axiom, a military strategy axiom. Armies that fight the last war always lose, right? They built the Maginot Line in France to keep the Germans from invading.
Yep.
The Germans went around through the woods, right? So that was fighting the last war. Building a static defense system in the age of tanks was a bad plan. So when I hear people talk about that, we can't be afraid to live our lives. That was 9/11 advice, and it was really good advice in the aftermath of 9/11 to show that we wouldn't be financially crippled or emotionally stunted by fear, although I would argue with you that we were when we started having to take our shoes off at the airport. We haven't stopped yet. But that was the idea of keeping our economy going by getting out and shopping and doing things was good advice post 9/11. It's fucking terrible advice now. And I think what happens is people are reaching back for something that made them feel better and helped us in a moment of crisis. But this is a completely different kind of crisis. The coronavirus does not give a shit if you're scared. It doesn't care at all. It doesn't matter if you're scared. And I'm not saying you should be living in fear, but you should be living in a reasoned response to the existent threat, not what you think is happening. So, going out to show that you're not afraid, it's really stupid advice. And not surprisingly, it comes from Devin Nunes.
Yeah, he just sucks as a thing.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I love AOC. We too love AOC, Richard Webb. I love AOC so much that I will show this up. I have 2 of these. I have an Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez comic book. It's the only comic book that I own. Sorry, Dave, but it's true. There you go. I love my AOC comic book, and I love her, and I think she's going to be president one day. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Stacey Abrams AOC ticket?
Wait. Let's just.
I know that's almost too much.
No, it's not too much. I just want to live there for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels pretty good.
It does. Or like Katie Porter in AOC.
Oh my God. Katie Porter is such. I just love her. And by the way,
still fucking awesome.
She was one of the Crooked Eight. When we talk about our friends at Pod Save America, Pod Save the World, the Crooked Media guys, that's John Lovett, John Favreau, Dan, and Tommy Vitor.
Yeah.
Those guys. They selected 8 congressional seats that they eight House and Senate seats in California that they thought were winnable, and Katie Porter was one of the people that they supported in it, and that's how we got Katie Porter, was because of the Pod Save America guys. So when they speak on Twitter, you should listen to them. They're all worth a follow. They're really brilliant guys, and Ben Rhodes is one of them, also Obama's former chief of staff. Definitely worth following and listening to on Crooked Media if you are a podcast type person. It's dreamy. The AOC Abrams ticket. Yes. Yeah.
Good luck to all your door lock. Yeah.
Sylvester just came a little.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Being very naughty.
That's. Yeah. I mean, there it is. That's a thing. That's
and
real.
Michael's a gay man, so
I mean,
that makes it more extraordinary.
He can still spot something worth. Okay, this is gonna get weird if I keep talking.
Yeah. There are dudes that I find erotic. I'm just saying.
Yeah. One hundo.
Wash your hands like it's Jason Momoa. That's the meme I most liked from last week.
Wash your hands like they're like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, like you're washing Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I love Katie Porter. We got that. Good luck to all you doorknob licker friends, Corey. This is coming back again. The doorknob licker thing about Jack. How did Casey find that? Was she part of that conversation we had way back when about local politicians?
She was around. We were talking about them licking doorknobs all the time.
Well, it came up last night in my the Tiny Guillotines group that we were chatting with last night.
Must have just been in the air.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Put it right out there, guys. Yeah, I like when she takes someone to the whiteboard. Like, she pulls out her own personal whiteboard.
Yeah. Like, I'm not, he was sir, in trouble right there. I'm not going to school you, but
I'm not taking you to the woodshed. I'm taking you to the whiteboard.
Exactly. Which, honestly, let's face facts, it's gonna hurt your penis more. Sorry.
All right. So I had a couple of things I wanted to share this morning. One of my favorite things about what's happening right now is watching people that I know, love, and respect respond to what's happening. And I'm going to. I don't know how I can share this. Actually, I do kind of know how I can share this. I can actually just to share it. Our local bookstore that we love so much, the Paperback Exchange bookstore, has activated curbside pickup. And I know that's not a full screen shot. I apologize that it's not bigger. But you can call up and order a book, and they will no contact shop and pick up. They're going to put a cart out front with your order on it. You can pay online with your credit card, and you can still shop and experience the awesomeness that is our local amazing bookstore, the Paperback Exchange on Ridge Road. Give Joni a call, 727-845-3494. And let me tell you, anything you want, they can order and get for you. And I've had that experience several times.
Anything?
Not easy to find. Book-wise.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, but by the way, I'm sad that they can't have the social interaction, because that's one of my favorite places to hang out. Just sit at Joni's table, drink coffee, and talk to whoever comes in and out the door. It's an amazing place, and we're lucky to have them. So a local business stepping up on the social distancing thing and understanding how important it is. This is the other
being
one.
An early out example. I guess all puns intended. It just, that's such a huge thing to me. That's something I've been thinking about personally a lot. Like I know where this is all going to end. I feel like the quicker we can all get to that place, the better.
Right. So here's the next link that I want to drop on you. This floored me. I couldn't believe how good this guide was. This is the ultimate guide to virtual museum resources, e-learning, and online collections. And just to give you this is a page full of links. Google Arts and Culture, a tour of 500 of the world's most famous museums. Europeana, 50 million European works of art, books, music, and more. Smithsonian Open Access, search 2.8 million images and 3D models. Art UK, art collections from 3,200 UK organizations. China's National Cultural Heritage Administration, virtual portal of 100 institutions. You get the idea. Virtual tours, Pitt River Museum, Dolly Theater Museum, the Vatican, the Palace Museum, the Hallway Music, the Louvre, Westminster Abbey, the Science Museum, Mexican National Institute of Anthropology and History, and a ton of this whole page this is going to keep you busy, and maybe your kids busy if you need stuff to show them. The other one is a preview, over 30 virtual links, virtual field trip links. If you need stuff to show the kids, these include things like the San Diego Zoo, the Yellowstone National Park virtual field trip, the Mars virtual field trip, animal care centers, animal cameras, live cams from San Diego Zoo, Monterey Bay Aquarium, and a whole bunch more. I'm going to drop that in here too so people can check that out. So this is a way to find things to do for you and your kids while you're practicing the movement that we have come to love. And I now have my profile picture has a tag for this, the Stay the Fuck Home movement. Corey, what do you got? What's going on? Usually when Corey goes quiet like that, it's because he's looking at other stuff.
No. I'm just responding to the dividend report on Twitter about something.
I got you. Okay. Oh, down 1,800. It's really recovering.
So actually, I'm going to pull up the TradingView version of this.
Goldman Sachs is officially predicting a coronavirus-driven recession.
That was 2 days ago.
GDP shrinking 5. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And it's still accurate, and I still think they're not. I think they're underplaying it.
What do you think about this thing about Sachs, Morgan, and 6 others suspending share buybacks?
So I haven't looked into that specifically, so I don't want to speak too authoritatively on it.
Right.
But it sounds as if they're going to stop doing it themselves. Right? They're not right. Like, okay. So like that's the thing. Like, it's not like if you're trading with Bank of America and suddenly like Delta wants to buy back their own stocks and they're stopping everyone else from doing it.
Right.
And also like saying it like no one's buying their own stocks back because they're all about to run out of money. I do want to bring every time we bring up, because they're going to be talking about bailouts constantly, the argument that every and a lot of Democrats do this as well. Not very many, for the record, but like every Republican does this. If Greg is in trouble, well, why didn't Greg put away $5 a week and save up for that? These motherfuckers were sitting on record cash and got a $2 trillion tax break that they used to blow hot fucking meth-addled air into their own stock price.
They should have skipped that latte.
And we're gonna bail them out, right? And again, we're
a new phone. It's all that avocado toast. That's why they can't afford this.
Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be infuriating, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And we should just write down everyone who isn't backing explicitly UBI or ideas that are at least similar and people focused, so that we can target them all for removal.
What people need right now is cash in their hand. That's what people who are going to be, laid off and negatively affected from shifts. I'm sure that Starbucks doesn't need as many people if their dining room and patios are not open. So people are going to lose shifts over that. And none of those people are protected full-time employees. Almost none of them especially your local restaurants and bars. These folks are not protected in any way because we've allowed a system that allows businesses to keep people off the full-time payroll so they don't have to pay more for insurance and things like that for those folks. We've allowed that. We let that happen. We kept electing people that or not fighting the election of people that were going to make that happen in our states. And we're going to pay a heavy price for that. And it's young families. I think primarily they're going to be the victims here. People that are already working their asses off are going to be really deeply damaged here. And I'm not afraid of getting sick, and I'm not afraid of being poor because I'm both things. I'm worried about everybody else now. It's just going to be more people in the bread line with me. Lots of stockbrokers and real estate agents to talk to, because how I love talking to those people on a regular basis. Hey, I want to talk. If you don't have anything going on right now, I want to talk about local government right now. Rob Marlowe, Newport Richey Mayor Rob Marlowe, is out with a statement today about staying safe and why the city has made some of the decisions it's made and other decisions that we might see coming. So I'm going to link that in the thread. And he is, by the way, the only local leader in my community that is speaking about this. We have not had a statement from our county commissioners, any of them individually or as a group. They did declare a state of emergency, but only because I'm sure that was ordered from, downhill from the state. I haven't heard any of them make a statement. The mayor of Port Richey has not made any kind of a statement about what Port Richey can do, what Port Richey residents can do to feel safer and better about things. Not on social media, not on the city's website, nothing. Absolutely nothing. The county health department, the Pasco County Health Department, which is a subsidiary of the state health department, and I understand that, the last day that there was a coronavirus update on the Pasco County Health Department website for people to go and look at to get information was March 2nd. The last time it was reviewed was March 7th. That means not only has it not been updated, nobody has looked at it from the health department in over a week. And that is unacceptable and horrible. And you should unelect everybody who's running for county commission reelection right this very minute. You should work hard to make sure those people do not serve another day, because it's unacceptable that our local health department and our local government officials are not telling us every day what we need to be doing and why we're doing it. The school board has been different. The school board has responded well. The school board is doing everything that they need to do, and that's okay. But as far as our county leadership, our county government leadership, where the fuck are they? Where's our sheriff?
I just had a friend of mine send me this. My grandmother's assisted living, this is Pasco County, assisted living facility is still allowing visitors, stating that no authority has told them to close the doors to visitors. And even though it's all over the news, they said they aren't dictated by media, right? So this is, again, like the first reaction when I told Mears is, oh, it's the media's fault. I'm like, dude, you're fucking stupid. All I know right now is that it's in Pasco County. But I'm trying to find out, because if it's in Newport Richey, I'm going to take it right to the mayor.
I know that our friend Donna Arbigas company, she works for a large nursing home company. They have instituted the no visitation policies and the other things that they're supposed to do.
So so my friend here is asking for help. I need something official to give to these idiots. I'm just mentally not very equipped to argue.
Oh, I got it. I got you.
Send it to me. Like right now, if you can, to clarify the facilities here in Pasco County, where the owner says that Governor DeSantis only ordered no visitors in Broward County, not the whole state.
That is not accurate. The State Department of Health website has specific guidance on this issue. I'm looking for it right now. That's the conditions page. All right, I'm going to send this to you in a message, actually.
Yeah.
Corey, here we go. Yeah, that's the link to the COVID information page on the Department of Health website. And scrolling through it this morning, I did see. I can't remember where.
I'm going to see if I can log it down.
Toolkit, gatherings, guidance for high-risk populations, guidance for schools,
guidance for high-risk populations,
guidance for healthcare providers.
It'll be in high risk. Long-term facilities.
Yep. Yeah. So saying you're not getting the guidance, that's
let me just make sure that's actually in there.
Oh, there's nothing on that page. Guidance for high-risk populations page is blank.
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay, it's not building for me for some reason. Okay. Oof. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see.
Considerations for visitors and consultant staff.
Things facilities should do now. There's a section of right down there at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Oof. I don't know. Is it in there?
I don't know if it's in here.
Wow. Sorry, guys. We're just reading here to make sure we.
Yeah. This is where Kelly and Brandy and Rob need to go after the county commissioners.
Need to be all over this right now.
Yeah.
I don't see a thing. I
don't either.
Is it possible that advice comes from the CDC? I'll bet you somebody in our comments is already all over this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, let's see. Do. Yeah. Okay. So that's the thing we should be working on, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me again. I missed. What's the source of this? Where is this coming from?
What?
Where is the source of this information that you're?
Oh, it's just a friend of mine. I didn't ask if I could use her name, so I'm not going to.
Okay, I got you. But like even the Pasco West Pasco Democratic Party Club is canceling their meeting that's held at an ACLF because they want to make sure that they don't endanger either members of the club or residents of the ALF. I have a friend here in Port Richey who's going to the nursing home every day and standing outside Dad's window with signs telling him she loves him because he doesn't understand why she can't come visit. So there are nursing homes that are implementing the proper precautions. But again, if 1 in 10 doesn't, that's going to be ground zero for a lot of deaths. That's just shitty. Not cool. Casey Marion, Joe Biden 28 minutes ago, we need a president who will always choose science over fiction. There you go.
It's a good line. So he's obviously going to back UBI now, right? Sorry. Okay, I couldn't resist.
Sylvester Hillsborough County Schools will provide free meals at 21 locations. This is the thing. I know everybody's excited about the state implementing that schools will be authorized to provide meals. That doesn't mean they are going to, right? Each county has to make that decision on their own.
Yeah.
And that's an argument against an argument for centralized control of our school systems.
Oh shit. Her facility's in Newport Richey.
City of. Remember, there's lots of people have addresses that aren't in the city.
Yeah, I'll find out.
Wow. Will the conventions happen? That's a good question. Dems will cancel, but the GOP won't. I bet you. I actually don't know what's going to happen with the conventions. Is there a way to virtualize a convention and delegate voting?
Oof. I mean, they're trying to figure out if they can virtualize the actual Congress stuff, which, to the best of my knowledge, has never actually happened before. So like that I was telling Michelle about this. She's like, why can't they just have them phone in? I'm like, Pat, like they're senators and Congress people. They kind of have to be in the room. Well, that's fucking stupid. Like, yeah, I mean, so is not having blockchain mobile voting, but here we are.
Think about meeting and votes. I guess they could all go to their collective offices and meet virtually. Congress. I don't know. I don't. There's no roadmap for this. Oof, that's crazy. That is crazy. In other news, Lindsey Graham's test came back negative. He does not have coronavirus. So I'm not going to spin that at all. Just a factual report that Lindsey Graham tested negative.
Yeah, Casey said, Corey, in my opinion, Joe absolutely would back UBI. I've gotten that impression too. I guess I'm just kind of sad that, I can kind of see both sides to what the argument might be, right? Like, I think, backing an emergency UBI would be bold, especially considering there's kind of so many people in like expert circles that are talking about it right now. But I can also see that like his underlying argument versus Bernie Sanders is that like, hey, we're not going to do anything too crazy. We're just going to follow the experts and do what needs to be done, right? Like that's kind of seems like the needle he's trying to thread. But goddamn, like you could put it away with that because like half of Bernie Sanders people will be like, wait, what? And that's the biggest thing. Like all you need to do is have a credible way to actually solve the things that are really freaking people out right now. And Biden had some stuff like that, so that was good.
All right, Brianna's got something up. Says that's the statement from Florida Department of Health banning visitation, but I don't see a statement. Do you have a link to it? You might want to message one of us the link because sometimes putting long links in the comments on YouTube is funky. But we would sure like to be able to see it and read it if there is such a statement, Brianna. We would appreciate that. The convention's not until July. I think they'll wait to see what happens over the next 90 days. It'll be tentative, I bet. But there's so much logistic trail that has to go into getting delegates to the convention. Conferencing, hotel sites, all that stuff. I think you're gonna have to make a call sooner than later on whether to jam thousands of people into a small urban center for
okay. This seems like it might not be. It's just south of 52 on Little.
So that's Pasco County, not Newport Richey.
Okay.
Yep.
And it says Newport Richey, but it's going to be
right. It'll be a Newport Richey mailing address, but yeah.
Side.
In fact, I can guarantee you it's on the east side of Little Road because it was west of Little Road. There, it would be a Port Richey.
It is.
It's weird.
It is.
Yeah. Huh. crazy. All right. Well, we reached 11 o'clock. We talked about a lot of the things we wanted to talk about. Social distancing is an important thing. It's more important by the day. And I have a central philosophy about this now. People who are positive for coronavirus are asymptomatic for anywhere between 4 and 11 days, possibly longer.
14
especially children and young people are not showing any symptoms well after they are infectious. So I am assuming that I am coronavirus positive. That's what I'm doing. And when I plan to go out and do something today, I need to be thinking about who I'm willing to infect.
That's yeah. Thank you for that.
Am I willing to affect my mom, who is 76 years old? Am I willing to infect my clients who often have other underlying medical conditions to go along with their reasons for seeking mental health counseling? Am I willing to infect the people that work the drive-through at my Starbucks by handing them my money? Nowhere that I went yesterday, and I didn't go many places, but nobody working the Starbucks drive-through window was gloved or taking my money in a plastic tray or anything. We were handing money back and forth through my open car window and their open drive-through window. And I think that I think if you're having trouble protecting yourself, and God knows I don't take good care of myself, you all watch me smoke on the air. Maybe the way for some people to get their head around who's at risk here is to think about who they're willing to infect in their daily travels. If you consider yourself already positive, maybe that's a way to get your head around thinking that I could infect people today, and who will they infect in turn? If I hang out with my friend Kathy Brinkman, who works in the school system, am I exposing all the kids that are in the school that she works at, or does her volunteer work at? Am I exposing all those kids to coronavirus? Am I exposing a nursing home full of people because I hang out with a nurse that works there? Am I risking first responders because I hang out with my friends who are doctors or nurses? Right. I think maybe that's a more productive way to think about social distancing rather than we're not scared. I am scared, and I'm scared for you. I'm scared for my friends. I'm scared for every restaurant worker I know right now. And we have healthcare professionals that are on this show with us that work in that field, and they're already greatly at risk. There is no vaccine for this. If someone gets sick with this, it's going to play out like it plays out, and maybe that is just a bad flu, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's requires a ventilator, and then we have to start making parts for things that break in creative ways like the Italians. Or we can all stay the fuck home to the extent that we can, limit our public contact, and flatten the curve in any way we can, and hope that works. So that's how I'm thinking about this today.
So just to kind of drill that home a little bit, it's something Greg and I were talking about off air, but and I think we might have talked about it yesterday, but acting as if you're infected now, because for all any of us knows, we passed by somebody who has it, or sat next to them, or we're in line next to them, or whatever. We just don't know, right? And right now the percentage is still pretty low. Let's say there's like a 1 in 1,000. It's actually probably more than that, but let's say there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that has actually happened, right? And you go outside and you stop for gas somewhere because you're going to go be alone in the woods or whatever, and you're standing 3 feet away from somebody and they get it. I know that, if you're watching this show, you're not going to go into a place with 1,000 people, but you don't know that guy. And that guy's probably a Republican, and he's probably thinking, oh, this is all just a media trope. Right.
Right.
And walks into an assisted living facility that's fucking wide open to visitors right now. Right. One person, because they're actually doing testing and tracking things back in South Korea, walked into a church meeting and infected thousands of people. Like, they drew it back to one guy who said fuck it and went in there, and he actually had a fever and he felt it. So like that, that's where we're at. And the more, if we all think about, if we overdo it now, because I know I sound like a crazy person half the time, I get it, I really do. If we overplay this now, the worst case scenario is that we double this thing, even just for whatever little things that we can do, right? Anyway, thanks for showing up.
Some local churches are canceling services. They should all be canceling local services.
And go virtual, right? And again, you need to, we need to train our elderly family about how to do virtual things, maybe, right? Which is,
I'm going to have to teach my mom Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. Zoom is actually pretty fucking easy. So,
have you met my mom?
I have. She's a genius and a wonderful lady.
Let me tell you a story. We got a fax machine when we were working in the insurance business. And she came to me one day and she said, here's this document needs to go to whatever bank it was. So you need to make a photocopy of it and fax it over to them. And I said, okay, but we don't need a copy because she says, no, we're going to need a copy for our files. And I'm like, yeah, but okay. But she's like, no, just do what I said, make a copy, fax it over and, bring it back to me. So I make a copy of it. I fax it over. I bring it back to her. And she says, why are there two? And I said, because you said to make a copy. She said, yeah, but you made two copies. I said, no one's the original. And she had this look on her face like, Mom, it's not a transporter beam. It's not like we actually transmitted the document through the internet to the other place. So that's teaching my mom technical things is sometimes challenging. So I love her very much. And she is a powerful executive woman who don't need no male executive man. But she's not exactly ready for this moment. Let's see, Brianna, my friend friends that commute from Tampa to Orlando day, their hour and a half drive was only 30 minutes. There is no one on the road. That's true. Ginny said the same thing. Her commute this morning was traffic, not non-existent, but light this morning. So there, FaceTime is easier. Yeah, she doesn't have an Apple device. We're PC people, so we're going to have to find some other way around this. And we still have to work out how we're going to logistically manage a group environment. I want people's undivided attention when we're teaching. I don't want them, dog barking, kids running through the room, their TV on in the background, them playing with their phones. It's hard to control that when people are meeting with you in a virtual environment. So we'll see how that goes. See, it's hard right now. Corey's doing other stuff, even while we're talking. Yeah. I have a date with a bunch of girlfriends on Zoom for a birthday party. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. I am not ready for this moment. Yes, you are, Lori. Listen, our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents were called to go fight in World War II. We're being called to sit on the couch.
Yes.
I was a latchkey kid. I'm used to coming home to an empty house and getting a snack and watching TV for 4 hours.
Yeah.
I know how to do this, and so do you.
They had D-Day. We have to play more Xbox.
My gosh,
we're gonna probably be okay.
We have to play D-Day. That's we have to play Battlefield. We don't have to actually go be on a battlefield. So we got this. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Yeah. All right.
So I got Brandy and Kelly Smith on this already.
Beautiful. That's good. That's a terrible thing. Whoever's doing that should be freaking ashamed, and we should run them out of business. We should say their names out loud. And it's down 1,925 points.
It's Oak Haven on Star Trail.
Oak Haven on Star Trail.
And apparently they have more than one place.
That's Mike Wells' district for anybody that's keeping score at home.
Mike Wells,
County Commissioner.
Got it.
Yep. I bet if you send him, I know how he's going to respond. Well, we can't really dictate to businesses what they do.
Yeah. So, and honestly, cool. We're gonna track all the cases that come out of there because we're actually gonna test, and we're gonna blame you for every single one of the people that dies from anyone who walks into that building.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Elected anyway.
Yeah, probably. Fucking hell.
Actually, he's running for a different office this time. I believe he's not running for county commission re-election. I think he is running for tax collector, property appraiser, one of those offices. So, okay. All right, you ready to get out of here? Get on with our day?
Yeah. I do want to say thanks to everybody who actually brought any positive stuff. I saw Bubba Viz's thing about the launch. Sorry, I didn't get to that comment. SpaceX tried to launch Falcon 9 and it stopped right at T-0, which I don't think I've ever seen happen before. But I had Michelle in here watching the computer with me because we were going to have a 10-minute, 15-minute thing where we're going to watch this rocket go off. And then it didn't. She's like, 2020, fucking son of a bitch. Just walks out. I married the right person. Anyway, but good try. Yeah. So
yeah,
now I know you're doing something else.
Yeah, sorry. Brianna did send me the link to the COVID page from the State Department of Health, and I can't read it all at once right now, but it's apparently in there. They are supposed to suspend visitation because of the at-risk population. So there you go. All right. Yeah, do the social happy hour. We're going to do that again this afternoon, you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Shoot for 3:00.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I loved our guest yesterday. I'd love to maybe if somebody else wants to come on and be our guest for this, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone should put their hand up and do that.
Yeah. Also, we would like you to join us. If you want to join us on that, I think we're going to start sharing the Zoom link so people can just pop in if they want to. That might be fun. We'd like to see you guys, see your smiling faces. So put a damn shirt on and come join us on the internet for the social hour. This is a way for us to keep in touch without actually exposing each other to things that are dangerous. So we like that. Yeah. Thank you, Bubble Viz, for mentioning that. Please give us a like if you would be so kind. There are 22 people watching. Wow, that's high for us. Right now, and only 9 likes, so like at least 11 of you don't like us.
Shout out to Dreen, who actually not only shared to multiple places, but then said, hey, got all my shares done right up the top there. Thank you guys very, very much for anybody who shared this out. That, like, again, because we're off Facebook, that really, really helps us out. Yeah, definitely no pants required. Pants are stupid. I'm a very
depends on your camera. Let's just say it depends on your camera angle.
Okay. Okay, Greg. Okay, Greg. Here it is right here. As coronavirus cases rise, Ron DeSantis bans visitors to all Florida nursing homes.
There you go.
And fucking scene. Randy's the shit.
Those assholes are in trouble. Yep. Okay. I forgot to like you. Thanks, Sue. We feel so important now. One more thing. The social hour is going to happen on Facebook. We feel like we can reach more people that way that don't yet know we're over here, but we do talk about coming over here for the daily show or for the 3 times weekly show. And we would love to have you in for the social hour this afternoon. We're going to try for 3:00. We'll let you know if that changes. And I think that's probably going to do it for this edition of #Coffee Orange Monday Part 2. So thank you, all of you, for coming and joining us tonight. Today, this morning, whatever, and we'll see you this afternoon for the social hour. And Sasquatch is real.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Wait.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how real?